Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the youngest woman ever elected to Congress in American history. You may know her from viral clips of her lines of questioning.
So you won't take down lies or you will take down lies? I think it's just a pretty simple yes or no.
To public outrage over her dancing. She's made her very strong opinions very well known, but love her or hate her, you have to admit that so far her political career is unique. So how exactly is someone with little previous experience in politics captivating young people's interests and inciting absolute rage from Republicans and even some Democrats? Here's why.
That it is going to be a different Congress.
Your patronizing attitude that you have to teach me about foreign policy.
That screeching war on Ocasio-Cortez.
A lot of people said this 28-year-old bartender who isn't qualified.
Now the first thing that sets Ocasio-Cortez apart comes before you even hear any of her ideas. It's who she is. She's young, Latina, a woman of color, emerging from economic hardship and a working class job. That's a rare combination of identities for a member of Congress. Only 9.2% of members are Hispanic or Latinx, and only 24% are women, despite that being at a record high. Only 20 Hispanic women have ever been elected to Congress in its entire history. And even if all 20 of those women were serving this term, which they aren't, they would only make up about 4.5% of House representatives. Prior to her win in 2018, she was a waitress and bartender. And to get a sense of how uncommon that is, you should know that it's more common to be a former professional athlete and now a member of Congress than it is to have been a waitress. Waitress is only mentioned in a footnote in this list of former jobs held by House representatives. In comparison, 6 House members are former professional athletes. I would go as far to say that her time in the service industry is part of what makes her a good politician. She's able to work with people she disagrees with, use reason in the face of rude behavior, and, honestly, call bullshit when warranted. If I stopped here, I could argue that merely who she is and her identity sets her apart from her colleagues. And though true, it's only upon a harder look do we really get into the good stuff. Let's start with her primary run in 2018. She ran against 10-term office holder and Democratic caucus chair Joe Crowley.
If this organization is as fascist as you have called it,
I've said it's fascist.
And you have said it's fascist, then why don't you adopt the stance to eliminate it? This is a moral problem.
Crowley outspent Ocasio-Cortez 18-1 in the primary race, in a district he didn't even expect to have to go to as he ran unopposed 14 years prior. But the Ocasio 2018 campaign was very clear that to them, the primary race was about money versus people.
This race is about people versus money. We've got people, they've got money.
They got the candidate to knock on doors personally and reach out to a more diverse electorate. That is truly not advised to win a primary election. Any advisor would tell you to only reach out to Democrats who voted in the last primary. But then she won.
Longtime incumbent Joe Crowley, the 4th-ranking congressional Democrat, suffered a stunning defeat at the hands of first-time candidate Democratic Socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Not only did she defeat the Democrat holding office in her district, but a powerful one at that. In doing so, she essentially dethroned a senior member of the Democratic caucus, which generated a significant buzz, as it really surprised everyone, even her.
I can't let you know. She's looking at herself on television right now.
And I feel like the look on these reporters' faces really sums it up. It looks like someone just told them the Easter Bunny isn't real. Crowley was so shocked he even briefly contemplated running as a third-party candidate. He didn't, though. With this new visibility, it gave Ocasio-Cortez the platform to show how powerful her ideas about the establishment could be. And this, coupled with her sense of control over her own image and message, is truly what sets her apart.
We only talk about raising taxes when it comes to taking care of our kids and saving our planet and establishing health care. It is an ultimate hypocrisy.
As an organizer for the Sanders campaign in 2016, it's clear where she has learned a lot. I will say she has been very careful to make sure she's underpinning every idea on the pillar that America has infrastructures that benefit corporations and the elite rather than the average American, and reminding people that she is not funded by super PACs or corporate lobbyists.
First of all, I think we need to kind of look at the damaging history, legislative history of what we've done with our taxes. Not only did we have a $400 billion GOP tax tax cut that could have actually forgiven every single federal student loan in America.
So I'm being held, and every person in this body is being held to a higher ethical standard than the President of the United States.
That's right, because there are some ethics committee rules that apply to you.
These are radical ideas, not really just for the Democratic Party, but for politicians generally. Whether you agree or disagree with her, it's not really the point. It's the fact that she's truly a different kind of politician that we've seen in recent history. She's like a real person. Everything from her reaction to winning the primary race to her responses to critiques she's gotten from right-wing news pundits, her responses are raw and flawed, but they work. My favorite? Just listen to her response to whether she eventually wants to run for president.
I hear, though, that you potentially want to run for president one day. Is that true? Mom, is that true?
I don't know. My mom tells me that I used to say that as a kid, but it was so, I used to say this on the trail. It's like, it's so hard to run for Congress. I cannot even imagine.
Now, analysts often attribute much of AOC's success to her social media clout, citing her 6.2 million Twitter followers and frequent use of Instagram. But to me, that's extremely reductive. It's not just that she uses social media and that she's good at it. Almost all politicians have social media and a professional team advising them. Plus, it's not like she was born with 6.2 million Twitter followers. She has to have done something to get people to follow her in the first place. It's really how she uses social media to reinforce that she's a normal human being working for her electorate every day. Which is a novelty to most when politicians seem to be robots acting as near-perfect human beings they read about in a book once. AOC uses social media to bring voters into her everyday life, sharing everything from her orientation to Congress to the makeup routine she does in her car. This way, not only does she get to keep her grassroots people-first values at the forefront of her image, she also gets to tackle everything that is thrown at her very personally.
The thing that's hard is that you're supposed to be perfect all the time on every issue and everything, and I think what people forget is that if we want everyday working class Americans to run for office and not these like robots, that we have to acknowledge and accept imperfection and growth and humanity in our government.
It builds on her authenticity and allows her to control the narrative about herself, one of the biggest things that female candidates struggle with. The way that we see Donald Trump be the loudest voice about Donald Trump, Ocasio-Cortez is doing the same thing for herself. Now, it's clearly not just her voters that follow her, as her follower count on Twitter alone is 8.7 times the total size for her electoral district. She also uses her platform to educate people on the processes and inner workings of politics. She's pulling back the curtain on what bureaucracy in Washington looks like. The mere fact that AOC is a member of Congress is interesting, but the way that she pulls her job, values, and image together is unparalleled. She's taken the lead for freshman members of the 116th Congress and forcing the Democratic Party to answer some tough questions that they've done their best to avoid, while also being one of the main celebrities at South by Southwest. She is truly the most interesting response to the 2016 election, and perhaps one of the most unpredictable, topped by, well, you know who. Personally, I can't wait to see what she does next and what her next live stream is about. Thanks for watching. Be sure to stay curious. Be sure to subscribe if you really like this video, and also consider supporting me on Patreon because bills don't pay themselves. Tell me about a politician that has inspired you in the comments below, and tell me what you think I should make a video about next.